Now it is my very great pleasure to introduce our speakers. Michel Morvan is co-founder and executive chairman of Cosmo Tech, one of our very active groundbreaker members who joined the consortium on day one. He will be joined by Thibaut d'Hérouville, who is vice president, group industrial supply chain at Michelin, to tell us more about digital twins and the manufacturing supply chain. Thank you, Michel.
Thank you very much, Meg, and thank you all for being there. So we are going to make a presentation with Thibaut d'Hérouville about the subject of simulation digital twins, optimizing manufacturing supply chain, and it will be a use case with Michelin. It's very important for us while we participate and talk about these simulation digital twins, and I will, of course, later say a word about what we mean by simulation digital twins. It's extremely important for us to share what happens in real with customers, and that's what we are going to do today, sharing a use case with Michelin that will be presented by Thibaut d'Hérouville, and to which I immediately give the stage. Thibaut, the floor is yours.
Okay. Good day. I don't know if I need to say good evening, good day, or good morning. So good day. Just this slide is basically to give you an overview of the Michelin supply chain. Michelin is a quite big integrated company. So overall, we have 8 levels in our supply chain. 3 manufacturing level plus supplier. We have 120 industrial activities over the world, everywhere. Cable, synthetic rubber, mixes, and obviously finished product, making tires. And we are also making tires for all type of vehicles, 2 wheels, mining, truck, passenger, etc., etc. That's the industrial part, and then we have the distribution part, where we have 2 levels of warehouse, and we are holding 3.5 million square meters of warehouse, plus 2 levels of customers. Okay, and different type of tires. This is a current one. This is a concept one, next generation, 2050. Okay, so this is globally an overview of the supply chain. The total lead time is 6 months, quite long. Logistic cost is 1.9 billion euro per year. We are holding almost 4 billion euro in inventory, which doesn't make happy our financial directors. And for the rest, I have already commented. Now, let's talk a little bit digital twins and digital twins for manufacturing and supply chain. Obviously, Michelin has done digital twins for tire for years, 30 years, just to simulate how a tire is working on a road. But here we are talking about digital twins for supply chain and manufacturing. Even for that, we have different cases. This is the first one. It's how the horizon is strategic and tactical. And this is the one that we are going to explain a little bit more in detail with the help of Cosmo Tech. And it's basically, where am I going to produce my tire? Then you have, at a different horizon level, operational, what we call operational and tactical. We have, and it's flow optimization between plants. For those who are familiar with supply chain, you may heard about the famous or infamous bullwhip effect, when you have a signal with a variability of 1 here, 1, 2, 3 steps above. The variability of your signal is 4. So how can you simulate that? How can you define where is that come from? And then you have I would say, the classical digital twin is inside a plant. It's a dynamic simulation of plant flow. So we're going to show you one example of digital twin, but keeping in mind that there is several types of problems that we need to solve with digital twins, and the tools and the parameters and the horizon are not necessarily the same.
Thank you very much, Thibaut. And of course, we are very proud to have been chosen by Michelin to work with them, and so that they use our technology to develop this first use case, strategic and tactical, that was described by Thibaut. So I will say a couple of words rapidly about, the problematic of decision making in a complex world. And then explain and recall what globally, and I'm sure it will be quite obvious for many of you, but recall what we mean by digital twin, and in particular what we mean by simulation digital twin, which is what Cosmo Tech does and what we did and what we do with Michelin. And explain where we are in the space of digital twin, and how what we do has been useful, of course, for Thibaut d'Hérouville and Michelin, which is what he's going to explain. So the main problem manufacturing, supply chain, and a lot of other industrial actors are facing today is to make decisions in a very complex world. And we have all learned in the last, I would say, year, that when you have to make decisions, you cannot always look at the past and make the assumption that more or less the future is going to be like the past, because we live in a more and more complex world. We live in a very uncertain world, a lot of uncertainties, and it's extraordinarily important to have visibility on what is going to happen. And usually, and you can see the pictures here, I say when people say, hey, it's great, we have a fantastic view of our current situation, we have a lot of knowledge about the past, and I say, yes, but is it really enough to be able to know what is going to happen? And the example I take is, imagine you're in a car and you're driving, right? And you know where you've been through, you know where you are. But if it's the night and you don't have lights, well, you have a problem. Even if you have extremely good rear view mirrors that tell you what is in the past, you have to make decisions about the future. And that's one, and it's the same if you have fog. So you have to know what are the obstacles in front of you. And this is where it's very important to have tools that allow not only to know the past, to know the present, but also to know the future. And for that, and to explain what we mean by simulation digital twin and digital twin in general, I take a very simple example, which is the following one. Remember, a couple of years ago when you were traveling, you were using a map. And at that time, it was a paper map. It was really fantastic, but it was a description of the environment, and it was, you had to do a lot of things to know where you were and where you could go. It was very useful, but not enough. And then there has been a great innovation, which is the arrival at that time. It was, the digital maps, and Google Map was an example of them. It's a digital twin of where you are, and it gives you information about data of the present, where you are, what is the map, and where are traffic jams. On the map here, you have some red pieces, which is where there is traffic jams now. But of course, when you drive, you're interested in traffic jams now, but you want to know how it's going to evolve in time and to be in the future. And then that's when you have a new innovation that came, and that is called Waze. And Waze is able to give you not only the traffic jam of now, but also based on data from the past at more or less the same time in the day, in the same days in the past. It can tell you, okay, in 1 hour, here is where there will be traffic jams. And that's a digital twin. And you use data-based AI. You learn from data from the past. And then you have what will be and I have discussion, by the way, with Waze people, and what they want to develop for the future is the ability to do the same, but also not to be able only to forecast the traffic jams on the road for the future based on data from the past, but based on the current situation and by simulating the current situation to see what is going to happen. So you have the paper map, that was the old I would say, digital twin, then the Google, then the ways and the ways of the future in which you have everything. Well, that's what you need to make confident decisions about the future when you're driving. And of course, that's the same when you in your business. And that's what we call simulation digital twin, is exactly Google Maps plus ways of today and plus ways of the future, which is able to simulate what is going to happen based on what happened today. And for doing that, you need to be able to say, what is the car doing, where are the cars going to go, to the right, to the left, and to be able to do this simulation. And the very, very good news is that even if for Waze it's still the future, for the industry, it's something that exists today. So doing a twin of the system that will allow you have the twin of the real world, like the map, and then you have the digital twin, which is the real-time replica, that allows you not only to know the current state, but you have in the replica all the dynamics, all the interactions of the different pieces, and you can run simulations to be able to know and to do what-if scenarios and how-to scenarios, and that's what is called simulation digital twin. And the Cosmo Tech simulation digital twin is something that you can couple with, for example, Microsoft Azure digital twin, that allows you to, with Microsoft Azure digital twin, you can track the past, you can monitor the present, but with Cosmo Tech, you can predict the future and take action. And that's this tool that we have used with Michelin to solve their problem. And I give now the stage to Thibaut again.
Okay, so back to my previous slide. We are going to show you a digital win, which is more related on strategic questions. Okay. What does that represent? That local factories here, what you see, local factories is for Michelin Chinese factories. Chinese is the biggest market in term of OE, original equipment and replacement. No surprise, and it's a growing market. Okay, they have already recovered the COVID issue, so it's really a growing market. Michelin is selling selected market around 20 million per year tires. The issue is that even if every year we are increasing our capacity, the issue is that where do we need to produce our tires? So we are right now selling around 1,700 tires, type of tires in China. Part of them are made here. The rest is coming from import zone. Import can be Thailand, Europe, North America, and Canada. Okay. So the big question is, what is the right sourcing? So you have capacity somewhere, you don't have capacity elsewhere. So the big question that we have to ask at least every year, but I would say twice a year, what is the real sourcing strategy which maximize your profit over 5 years? That's the problem. Okay, we will serve the Chinese market, but we can serve the Chinese market with local supply or with import supply. And next step, you see, at stake, it's quite different, because okay, a big runner, if you have one type of tires where you sell 2 million tires per year in China, please don't use Cosmo Tech. Okay, just because the answer is obvious, produce them in China. The problem is that we are suffering or enjoying the same issues that everybody. The number of products we need to build to serve the market with a strong need of differentiation is increasing a lot. So the problem is you have the choice to produce in Europe and export small quantity, or produce in China, smaller quantity, okay? But where is the balance? Where is the balance? And there is a lot of at stake, you will see. So we've been working on this issue for the last 10 years, I would say. So input of the model is capacity, transport time, demand. Okay, what is the demand? Extremely important, what is the variability of the demand? If you don't have the tire in China, when you have the order, you don't sell. They go to the cost. They go to the competitors. Operational cost, introduction cost. Introduction cost is you have to realize that in the Michelin world, okay, transferring a tire from one plant to another is quite expensive because for different reasons, including toolings and that, but it's quite expensive. And product life cycle time. Okay, if you decide to produce in China and that's for the next 20 years, okay, no way. But we have to change our tire lines every 4 years now. So all that. So you have a lot of input, and the output is what? Profit, obviously. Service level, extremely important in China. The total cost, factory utilization, because we just want to make sure that our return on asset is good, and inventory level, because you've seen the level of our inventory, quite important, and we have strong objective to reduce our inventory. To do that, the first thing we say, okay, go give me the problem, 1 month, Excel, and I will do it. The end of the story, which is not the end of the story, is Cosmo Tech has run 80,000 different sourcing strategy to determine the most profitable, which is something that you absolutely can't do manually. Benefits. Alors, I know that you like numbers, you like euros, dollars, and all that, but for some issues that you will understand, confidentiality, etc., I will have some percentage. But let's take, for example, custom duties. Custom duties, in this case, reduced by 60%, mean that it's more than 10 million euros per year, okay, on custom duties. Just to give you, I'm not going to give you all the figures, but just to give you the magnitude of the figures we have to do that, okay? And one thing that doesn't appear here, and 10 years ago it was not even taken into account, is the CO2 emission. Okay, Michelin has committed to reduce that. Transportation of tires from everywhere in the world to China is costing a lot in terms of CO2 emission. So by doing that, we see a lot of gains. The fact is, and then I will be finished. The fact is that now the world is so variable, things are changing so fast that before making big decision, deciding to build another plant in China is a more than $1 billion investment. So you need to make sure that you have run some future simulation. It's just what Michel was saying, that what kind of risk I'm taking, because this kind of question we are asking us every year or twice a year. But we know the past, but now with the technology we have the capability to at least compare, do different situations and evaluate risk of what we are doing, we want to do. So I'm done for that. Just for you, just remind that we are talking of strategic tactical sourcing digital twin, and there is many other digital twins that can deal with other problems.
Our first question is, how does a digital twin solution integrate with IIoT platforms?
Well, as I mentioned, Cosmo Tech has a seamless integration with Azure Digital Twin IoT platform. And then based on this seamless integration that allows all the capabilities of Azure Digital Twins, that allows the connection with the IoT, and having all the the part that describes the data model, and we connect here our technology that allows to give life in a way to the data, and to have the possibility not only to look at data from the past and of the present, but in a way to say that, oh, I can have a look at data from the future, of course with some limits, but it gives the possibility to have a kind of end-to-end digital twin platform.
Thank you. Thibaut, did you want to add anything to that before we go to the next question? Oh, I think you're still on mute.
I'm on mute. I agree with Michel, but Michel is my dream.
Happy to hear that.
Obviously, if you can feed your digital twin models with data that are based really on the real world, and the IoT will bring a lot for us, especially on this case. Like, where are your containers? What are your lead time? How much do you have in stock, and all that. So there is a link in a sense that IoT will allow to work really on real data, and those when aggregating all this data, it will be much better than to feed the simulation model.
Okay, thank you.
Don't think that having an IoT in Indonesia for whatever things that will impact your strategic model. No, it's obvious. But
thank you. We have another question, which is, how do you see the digital twin market evolving over the next 2 years?
Thibaut, you want to answer to this one, or I can? It's up to you.
Start, and then I will ask.
Okay. The visibility I have here, and it's very important to realize that this is something that is starting, and in particular the simulation part is starting. There is a big, our software allows to do this simulation, right? So we create the simulator, and the technology that we provide allows to do that. And people are not used to have this possibility with digital twin. But we see that there is a great demand, and Thibaut mentioned the gains when you start to have this visibility. And so my personal perspective on that is that there is a tsunami coming, right? That it's going to be very, very big, exactly as Thibaut said. Once, and which is possible today with our technology, once you can connect with the IoT and you have the end-to-end, the potential is great because you have the past, the present, and the future. So having this software that allows you to do that will be a huge, tsunami, big impact.
Just what some things on how it's good. Maybe two aspects. I just mentioned one thing is that Michelin start digital twins for tires, but you know how tires is behave on the road 30 years ago, and one of the member of the top Michelin guy who were sponsoring this project was beginning his career in the tire simulation. When he's saying what I was doing 30 years ago and now has absolutely nothing to do. I can tell you that, okay, so back to our case. 10 years, okay, it's not the first time that I'm trying to do a digital twin, because the question is old. It's not a new question, but I can tell you that I had a lot of failure in this area. But now the fact that you can manipulate, that you can deal with a lot of data, plus the power of the new algorithm and the evolution of the algorithm, says that I can't answer your question, what it will be in 2 years. What Michelin knows that they can't invest in this area. We have to do and to invest in this area of simulation.
Thank you. I see we are getting close to the end of our 30 minutes, but I think we have time for one more question at least. Digital twin, if a digital twin is a digital representation of a physical asset, this seems more an operational planning tool. What exactly is its relation with a digital twin?
Oh, it's a great question. Maybe I was not clear, and I should have given more detail about that. Digital twin used to be only a representation of physical asset, but more and more, digital twin is a representation of a global organization in which you have physical assets, but you have also people, you have also processes, you have also, stocks, we mentioned them, you have a lot of different things. And the future of digital twin is not only to be focused on digital assets, but to be focused on systems globally, because this is very often the decisions you want to make is not for one digital asset. It's for the global system. When you have to make a decision for supply chain and manufacturing, you want to optimize the system, not only one of them. So that's exactly what we are doing. That's why we call them usually 360 simulation digital twin, because we take into account a lot of different things.
Yeah, if I can just add something, when we simulate the bullwhip effect, which was one example I showed before, we were not simulating physical assets. We were simulating management rules. Okay, how can I? What is my process to order to design the level of stocks and all that? And by simulating different things, different ways of managing your supply chain, you can really find different balance between service and stock, for example. That's another example of it's not just simulating physical assets.
Thank you. And thank you, everyone, for attending today. I see that we did have a lot of questions we weren't able to get to in the very short time, but our speakers have said that they will try to give us answers that we can send offline to you. I really appreciate everyone joining us today, especially our speakers, Michel Morvan and Thibaut d'Hérouville. Do you have any last comments that you want to say before we close out the webinar?
Oh, yes, I have one. If you don't have Michelin tire on your car, big mistake.
I will stop on this one. I agree.
Okay.
I'm kidding.
Thank you very much. Thank you, and everyone enjoy the rest of your day.